Oh, yeah. I didn't see you there. What are you doing here? It's Thursday. Why are you here on a Thursday? Why am I here on a Thursday? That's crazy. Hi, I'm Jake Johnson. And I can't talk, but that's all right. It's Untethered Live on a Thursday. That's weird. I don't even like the way that sounds coming out of my voice. Or out of my mouth. How are you doing? How is it on a Thursday, I guess? Amanda says, hi, Untethered Live family. Good to see you all on this unusual night. It's weird being here on a Thursday. I hope everybody's doing good. Hi, Jake. How are you tonight? Froggy. But I'm here, and I'm happy, and I can't complain. I'll take a peppermint if you have one. That might help. Amanda says, oh, yeah, I can dig it up with my nails. Very nice. Debbie's here. Thank you. Debbie's here, and she says, hello all. Depravity shall we discuss? What depravity shall we discuss today? Whatever you like. Anything under the sun. If I could even talk. I may not be able to talk. I'm hoping she'll kick into gear and it'll, start working. But apparently, it's going to be tough. What manner of depravity shall we discuss today? Whatever tickles your bean. Amanda says, Debbie, you get a gold star for being first in chat on a Thursday. You should get 2 gold stars for that. Most people don't even know I'm going to be here. Amanda says, hi, Debbie. Oh, there we go. That's a little warmer. I'll just communicate in whistles. How about that? Amanda says, I'm liking the background. Yeah, isn't that nice? That's one of the many, many new looks that I have that I will be doling out over the year. Can't give them all at one time. I got some interesting stuff, though. We can look at them later if you want to see them. I just got to pull them up. Debbie, how are you today? What depravity is on your mind? I'm just trying to gain a little influence and make a little money coming in on a Thursday night. Actually, I was told to. My YouTube rep said that it would help with the algorithm if I did one more episode a month this month. So we'll see. One more episode a week this month. And hopefully that will solve the issue with the algorithm and it'll start pushing out the show to other people, which is what we want to happen. Kind of hard to grow if nobody knows you're there. You could have the best show in the world, but if nobody knows it's there, it doesn't mean anything. Debbie says, I'm good. No depravity comes to mind. Me neither. Except you should have seen what I was doing before the show. Let's just say it was good. Grabby, but good. It's so weird being here on a Thursday. I don't even know what to talk about. I'm not geared for this. What do normal people do on a Thursday? I don't even know. I'm usually asleep right now. Goodness gracious. I apologize for all the noise. I'm trying to get my voice working and it doesn't seem to want to. Amanda says, grabby? You mean hands on? Hands on, hands off, wax on, wax off, up, down, left, right, whatever. And Debbie says, I am here to perhaps learn some depravity. I can show you a few things. What do you think of the background? It's a new one. I kind of like the neon sign, the blue neon sign. That's just like that neon sign, only in script. Hand script. Kind of nice. I wish I had a real one hang up there. That'd be weird. Where do you even get neon signs? I've never even seen one for sale. I assume somebody makes them. Probably to order, but I wouldn't know who to even ask. That and billboards. Where do you get billboards? I know people who have had billboards, but I've never seen a place where you can get a billboard. It's kind of weird. Debbie says, I like the background. Debbie, are you in a good mood tonight? And where's Amy at? Lots of people make them. They can be expensive, says Amanda. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I have no doubt about that. All that's doing is making a bunch of racket. You hear it clicking around in my mouth. I'll just stick with the coffee. It works. Stick with the coffee and try to speak softly. Amanda says, I like the background. It has lots of dimensions and shadows. Nice. Yep. It feels like it's big, doesn't it? Although, I do need to scooch over just a little bit. There we go. There we go. Debbie says, I'm always in a good mood. Every day is a good day. Some just have bad moments. Right on. Amy's at work, I'm sure. Probably. It is 8:30, though. 8:41. And Debbie, I feel you. I'm always in a good mood, too. The world just sometimes has it out for me. But I take it with stride. All you can do is move forward. That's it. It don't matter what's coming, as long as you're moving. There we go. I think my voice is loosening up finally. That's nice. I've been having this asthma type thing. It's like, pressure on my vocal cords, I guess, is the only way I can describe it. And makes it very hard to speak. I can breathe just fine, though. If you hear me talk, it sounds like I can't breathe. But I can breathe. I just can't talk. It takes like 3 times as much air to make a sound as it should. Like you should just be able to go and make noise. But I can't. I got to push like I'm singing from a diaphragm. John H. says, hello, everybody. Hey, John. Welcome on a Thursday. It's Jake on a Thursday. Kind of weird, but we like it. Amanda says, hi, Nugget. Nuggy, 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 nuggy. And there's a different thing. All right. There's something you don't see every day. Jake Johnson in a cowboy hat. Oh, that looks weird on camera. I need to reshape it. I just found this. It was in a box. Look what's on the back. Yeah. Only problem with this is I can't hear myself. We'll put that over there for the time being. That's what I really wanted. Ride 'em, cowboy. Rich says that's hot. I have moments. And Debbie says, ride 'em, cowboy. And Amanda says, my cowboy, I want to see you in just the hat and boots and nothing else. Ha ha. Well, that could be arranged. Although, I don't know why you would want that. There's a new sheriff in town. Jake Johnson, says John. Ha ha. This town ain't big enough for the both of us. Amanda says, Rich, wave your hand. Amanda says, them run in the room and do the helicopter. If you're not familiar with the helicopter, first you got to learn how to hula hoop. And then do it without a hula hoop or pants, and you'll see. Yeah. John says, done it before. You've done the helicopter before. Oh, yeah. The ladies like that. That's a classic move right there. Debbie's like, what the hell? I wish I could sing to you guys. I really do. I apologize for not being able to. Rich says, Rich is like, what the hell? Debbie says, Amanda, you making me feel dirty. Amanda says, LOL, you're right, Debbie. Rich says, if you play and listen to the music, I will sing it. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. On the way. How about that? I don't want to get copyright claimed on my new day. I can't play music that people know because they'll get me every time. And if I play you a song and they recognize it, there goes the ad revenue for that video. I can't make any money off it. They'll give it back to me when I dispute the claim, but all the people that are going to watch the video have already done so. No ad revenue. So there's that. And that's a big pain in the butt. So I try not to do that anymore. Which sucks because that's the only reason you play guitar is to play music for people. Makes no sense. It's like they don't want any new guitar players to come around. And I keep trying to tell people, that's how you make new guitar players. They hear music that they like, and then they emulate it in front of other people, and it inspires them to make their own stuff. That's how it works. That's how music has worked for thousands of years. Now all of a sudden, you can't do it, or it's a copyright claim. I'm not trying to sell somebody else's music. I'm just trying to play it. That's a different thing. Rich S says, I feel like if Shazam can't identify it, you're safe from copyright infringement. Right. Which is why I'm just doodling. I'm just a doodling. Yeah. I am the entertainer, but I can't entertain. YouTube won't let me. So I just moderately stick around and, act average in front of people. They don't like it when you get exceptional. Can y'all hear that? Or is it cutting out on me? I need to plug it in. No, it's fine. You can hear it? Okay. It doesn't really matter. I'm not really playing anything. Amanda says, I used to listen for Do Your Ears Hang Low on a daily basis, waiting for the ice cream truck. I'd figure it out later. John says, yeah, you sound okay. Thank you, John. I love old AC/DC. Debbie says, ears? I thought it was boobs. Do your boobs hang low? Do your boobs hang low? Do they touch the flow? If they do, then run around and tie 'em in a bow. Rich says, oh, dang. Was that the tune that the ice cream truck played? Duh. I knew there was more to it. Oh, yeah. They played several. There's like a ice cream truck cabal out there, and they have the copyrights to several tunes that are specifically for ice cream trucks now. Rich says, who'd have thunk it, right? John says, I got a refund. Amanda from Amazon. Cool. Get that money back. Debbie says, can you throw them over your shoulder like a continental shoulder? Continental soldier? Do your boobs hang low? Like an over-the-shoulder boulder holder? Amanda says, my boobs aren't big enough to hang low. More than a handful is a waist. Boobies. Well, you know what they say about boobies. If you've seen one boobie, you want to see the rest of them. True enough. Amanda says, LOL, told you, Nugget. Did it come today? The boobs hang low. Who was talking about this song last night? Who was that? Somebody mentioned that song last night. It's a good song. Roseanne Carter Cash. John says, nope, it didn't come. UPS mix-up. Ah. Rich S says, something tells me that refund isn't going to last long, though, John. Never does. Debbie says, Amanda, I got enough for you and me both. And some others. That's a lot of boobies. I just have the one. Amanda says, I like my boobies. They don't get in the way, and they're just enough to do whatever you want with them. Have fun. And have fun. Right on. I agree. Johnny says, at my age, they do. At my ages, they do. Right on. At my ages, they do. They do what? Amanda says, well, damn nugget. Richard says, I love small boobies. Me too. I'm a small booby guy. I don't like the big ones. I mean, I don't have anything against the big ones, but I prefer the ones that are like that size. That's a perfect booby right there. Yeah, I identify as a perfect boobies, says Amanda. You identify as perfect boobies? That's weird. Just floating around, no body. Debbie says, I look like I have a baby butt on my chest, LMAO. Wow, a baby butt on your chest. Baby butt boobies. I want my baby butt boobies. Boobies, yeah, yeah. Hang low, says John. At my age, the boobies hang low. I got it. Give me 3 steps, says Rich. I did it. I can play them all. Amanda says, and I did it on an acoustic guitar, by the way, which is impressive because that's done on an electric guitar. Really hard to do on an acoustic. Yeah, I like that stuff. I've been playing that song for probably 20 years. Long time. Amanda is a booby, says Debbie. She is kinda, yeah. I have never done it on the guitars, says Debbie. Well, I have, and it's painful because there's little strings they poke you right in the butt. I have slept with a guitar and various other things while having a guitar. It's not what it's cracked up to be. Amanda says, LOL, me either, Debbie. I done it next to a few of them, though. Rich says, it sounds like everyone around here is horny. Haha. They just know what they see and they like it when they see it. This guitar needs new strings. I know I have new strings. I just hadn't put them on yet. I had it tuned to C the other day. Like a, alternate tuning. And now it won't go back in tune. I know I have plenty of strings. All right. Amanda says, I was going to say, you should have plenty of strings there, mister. I do. I got a whole box full of string sets. This is just these strings are good. There's no sense in changing them. They're just getting dead. See, I don't break strings. The only time I break a string is if there's something wrong with the guitar and it breaks it like a burr on the bridge or something. Or if there's a factory defect in the string. But as I've been playing for so long that I know where the stress points are and I don't break strings. Very seldomly. Like maybe once every 10 years I'll break a string. Anyway, I play them till they turn black and then I change them. And Jake's stinging us along. I'm doing something. Amanda says, you come home one day and there will be new strings on it. Since you keep forgetting to change them. No, you don't change my strings. Don't touch my guitar. That's a no-no. I'll know. Believe me. You might think I don't, but I'll know. I know what she feels like. Linda Davis says, hi all. Sorry I'm late. My son and his friend were out mowing lawns and got their lawnmowers stolen because they tried to hide it when they went into a store. Kids, wow. That's terrible. Did you find out who stole it? Did you get it back? Do I need to come up there and whoop somebody's tail? Teach them how not to steal? That's a good song. Amanda says, hi, Linda, hun. And John says, hi, Linda, heart. Amanda says, how in the hell did you lose your exhaust pipe today, Linda? Did you lose an exhaust pipe or a lawnmower? Did I read that wrong? Boo. Amanda says, Linda says, nope. They looked around town for it, but could not find it. I don't know how long they were in the store. Apparently long enough to hijack a lawnmower. Was it a push mower or a riding mower? They might have rode off with it. I'm sorry they lost their lawnmower. That's terrible, but it's a good learning experience. Don't leave your lawnmower laying out in the outside. Why did they push Why did they push the lawnmower to the store in the first place? That seems odd. I mean, by definition, it's a lawnmower. Shouldn't it have been in the yard? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out, trying to visualize it. I guess it doesn't matter. I can't do anything about it, but it just seems like an odd thing to have happen. I sound like shit today. Sorry, Jake. Well, yeah, I do. There's not much I can do about it, Rich. I apologize. I'm trying, though. Never mind the mule. Just load the wagon. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box if you want to show Jake that you like hearing him squeak. I'm just kidding. I apologize, Rich. Linda Davis says, LOL, Amanda, I don't know. I was just minding my own business and driving to get my groceries, and it just decided it didn't want to stay connected to the muffler. Dang. That's terrible. Amanda says they were out mowing lawns and stopped at the store probably on foot. I've been there before. When she said that, I had a flashback to Peachtree Street and me as a child pushing a lawnmower down mowing people's grass for $20. In that neighborhood with all the crisscross roads and then the store at the corner. Rich says, don't apologize. I'm sorry you're going through a spell. Yeah, me too, buddy. I don't think it's a spell, though. I think it's permanent. Unfortunately. The forever kind of permanent. Magnolia, Peachtree Street off of Cumbie Road. That's right. I finally got it in tune. All right. Now we're in business. Oh, yeah. By the way, if you guys want to check out our new Facebook page, the link is in the chat. It's Untethered Live Chillin'. Untethered Live Chillin' on Facebook. Go check it out. It is a fantastic place. All the ladies are sharing all kinds of videos and pictures. You can't stand it. It's so beautiful. Go check it out. It's almost painful to play guitar and not be able to sing along with it. Makes me feel useless. So I'll just talk, if I can do that. All right. What do you do on a Thursday? I just showed up to make the number. So you guys showed up to help me out. I appreciate you very much for doing that. We made the number. That's awesome. So let's see if this extra show will cause the algorithm to push the show out better. That's what the goal is. That's what I'm trying to do. See if we can get some action out of that algorithm, because it ain't favoring me very much here lately. The only time I get new people in the show is when I go vertical. The little, politics type of thing. And that's the only time they push the show out, because it's different than the rest of the show, right? So the algorithm sees it as different, it pushes it out. Well, this is different. See if it'll push it out. If it does, then I'll know how to trick it into getting some more views on the show, which is kind of what this is all about. You should have went vertical tonight. I should have, but I don't have the voice to put up with that many people, so I decided against it. I can barely talk to you guys. I should be being quiet right now. Rich says, I bought a used 60-inch flat screen today for $20 from my pool area. That's fantastic. It's not a bad price either. 60 inches? You go, man. Does it work? And does it work completely? If so, you made a good buy. Speaking of which, I am looking for a certain item in the world, and I'm going to start telling people what that is to help me locate it. I'll defer to the masses, to the wisdom of the masses. And you guys are out there in the world doing things, so if you happen across this particular item, please let me know. And I don't mean go look it up on eBay or Marketplace. I've already done that. I'm looking for a barn find, a special, somebody's got this thing in a closet and you happen to see it, or it's been in the family for 20 years and it's time to let it go to a new home, that kind of thing. I'm looking for a 70s model PV T60. That's what I'm looking for. A PV T60. USA made PV guitar. Name of the guitar is T60. They have a 25 and a 15. I'll take one of those too. But the one I want is the 60. They also have a 27. 27, 25, and a 15. And then there's a bass guitar that's a 40 and a 45. But I want the 60. That's the one I'm after. That's a special guitar. If you guys happen to see one or know anybody that has one, please defer me to them. Amanda says it's a 70s model PVT 60 guitar. That's right. Rich says it works great, but I had to order a clicker for $7 off Amazon. Well, yeah, that's par for the course. Anytime you buy a TV from somebody, you're going to have to get a remote because they're not going to keep up with it. But you can get one of those universal remotes at the dollar store and program it, and it'll work just fine. I've got a lot of TVs around here. Somebody gave me a big 60-inch TV, but it's the old kind. It's really heavy and really big, and there's one pixel that doesn't work, and so there's a white spot in the screen. But I got it for free, so whatever. But it's an old 60-inch, so it's 720. It's not HD TV. But whatever, it's a big TV. Debbie says, you could hit me over the head with one, and I still wouldn't know what it is, right? Well, if you happen to run across one, I'm just telling you. There's other people that may know where one's at, so I don't know. It's a rare find in the first place. They're not just, in every pawn shop in America. It's hard to find these guitars, but I'm looking for one. I'm starting a PV collection. Why? Because I grew up using PV hardware. They've been around ever since I've been a child, and it's really a part of my history. I've got PV equipment today out there in the barn. My monitors are PV, so I mean it's a big company, and they make guitars, and they're not bad. The old ones are not bad. The new ones are Chinese garbage, but the old ones were made in America, and they were good instruments. So I'd like to have one. Where is my Aaron tonight? Aaron, where are you at? I need y'all to crack up and make some jokes. I don't expect tonight to be very fluid and smooth. I mean, it's Thursday, and I don't do Thursday, so I'm actually really lucky you guys showed up. How did you know I was going to be here? I guess I said something about it last night, didn't I? Basically, this is just a placeholder to say that I did a live stream. I didn't have anything planned. I only made the decision to do it yesterday, so here we are, doing it. Get down on it. So anyway, that guitar is a very special one. You can look it up. It's very nice. And it's unique. It has a look that other guitars don't have. I don't know why I haven't been playing one my whole life. Linda says, I have no life, Jake, so I'm here. I feel the same way, Linda. Debbie says, yeah, I knew from last night. I may be old, but I can still remember shit. You're doing better than me. I can't hardly remember nothing. My brain is going the way of the dodo bird. I think it's just full, and now it's like bailing out information to make room to operate. It's actually kind of funny that the guy with the photographic memory can't remember shit. All my life, I've been plagued with that. I remember everything. I mean, everything, down to the details. It's all in there, jumbled up. And then I hit 50 and start losing it all. It's kind of funny. Just when I start trying to use it, it starts going away. Amanda says, yeah, I remember better than he does. Sometimes. Well, I'm glad you guys are here. Thank y'all so much for backing me up on a Thursday night. No voice and everything. I appreciate you sticking in there. I love you. You know I do. And I'll make good on a normal podcast night. I'll do something special for you guys. And Linda, thank you very much, by the way. It means a lot. Appreciate you. You know what I'm talking about. What's he talking about up there? I'm talking about rocking and rolling and whatnot. So, first time I ever played on stage with David Allen Coe. I was up there on the stage and he was 5 feet behind me in the dressing room. There's a wall there and he's right back there. And I'm up there singing. And I'm opening the show for him. He's going to come out after me. And it's the first time in my life I ever had stage fright because I'd never been before a national act before. Of that caliber anyway. And I had to force myself to get up there and do the thing right because I was nervous. I don't get nervous, and that's weird. So I was nervous that night. Anyway, I pissed him off because I did one of his songs because I didn't know that was a no, you don't do that. But it was an older song, and I didn't think he'd probably do it that night, so I did it. He didn't like that very much, but the crowd did. I ended up playing a lot of times with him. It was a pretty interesting evening. Debbie says, you could always give us a Magic Mike show. There you go. That's the best you're going to get. Amanda says, oh, no, Bill. They had their thumb on you. Oh, I missed one, I guess. Hold on. Bill Bennett, what's up, buddy? Bill says, hello, Untethered Live family. The last few shows, my phone or YouTube wouldn't allow me to comment. That's not good. Well, you're commenting now. What would you like to say? Amanda says, hi, Bill. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're here, though. And Amanda says, oh, no, they probably had their thumb on you like they have on me quite often. I've seen them snatch chats out of the show before. Somebody will say something and it won't go through. I don't know why they do that or who they do it to, but I do know they do it. Amanda says, you might have pissed somebody off, Bill. And woohoo, I saw an innie. And Bill says, just saying hello. Well, hello back at you, sir. Nice to see you. Linda says, Amanda, that was my badass daughter-in-law and granddaughter that came to help me get the tailpipe off. And we do get ourselves into some crazy stuff, but she knows I'll bring the shovel if she ever needs. Right on. Yeah, being a ride or die person is a rare trait these days, and it's a lovely thing to know. You want to keep people like that around you. I'll take loyalty any day of the week over anything else. Debbie says, I'm good now. That was enough. That's terrible. And man, it says, LOL, Linda. Right. I got a lie and I know what the alligators are. Right on. Rich says, have a cigarette, Debbie. Sue Wood says, hello, everyone. Hey, Sue. How are you, sweetie? Come on in, take your shoes off. Amanda says, LOL, Nugget. Oh, here we go. John says, what do you call a horny cow? Beef jerky. Right on. And Debbie says, I am Rich, having a cigarette. I'll have one with you. Amanda says, hi, Sue. How you doing, Sue? You having a good day? I'm having a good day. Been a long day, long, hot day, but it was a good one. Had to shop all to myself today, just printing T-shirts all day long. Big old tall stack of them. The last 2 days, I've been making a big old sign, and I had to go install it out in the heat. Hole diggers and the whole 9 yards. Man, that was hot. I bet it was 105 degrees out there. Amy Elizabeth is here. She says, special Thursday episode. Nice. Hey, Amy, how are you, sweetie? Nice to see you. Linda says, we got plenty of stripping mines and abandoned mine shafts. Right on. You get the job done, right? Amanda says, I'm having a peppermint. My baby bought me a big bag of peppermints. He's so sweet. Oh. I'm sweet, and I know what it's like to live with a junkie. You gotta make sure their fix is made. That's bad news. Sue says, Amy, I think we both came here from the same place. You didn't just sit around waiting for me to show up and then came here because you love me? Amy says, I've been watching old Bible study episodes. I laughed today when you were singing Alabathia. I can't remember that. Alabathia. I don't remember that. I'm glad you were watching it. Amy says, the other show I moderate for, Jake. Oh, I know. I was just teasing you. Genesis 28. I got you. Yeah, there's some good jokes in there strewn throughout. I try not to be too funny because it is Bible study, but every now and then you got to crack a joke. It releases the tension, gives a little bit of levity. Sue says, we were both there. Well, I'm glad you're both here. That's fantastic. Fantastic news. I do apologize. My voice is barely hanging on tonight, but I'm here. I bet the other guy could talk. Genesis 28. By the way, did you watch that whole everything wrong with Genesis? And if so, what did you think about that? Did you think I do a good job of it? Do you think it was sufficient? A sufficient takedown? Sue says, I'm here because I first met Amy there and she invited me here, so here I am. Angela Ashkin says, I thought we weren't here on Thursdays. Hello, all. We're not. I'm a figment of your imagination. This never happened. Angela's here. Quick, everybody, hide. Amanda says, hi, Angela. It's a special show. Yes, it is. Special. Amy says, I have not. I want to finish Genesis first. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. You wanted to get the book in before you got the bad book in. Gotcha. So that you'll see that I'm correct. Got it. I remember you telling me that. I just forgot momentarily. Rich S says, my favorite song by Genesis is Follow You, Follow Me. Nice. Old Phil Collins. Angela says, well, shoot. I haven't had any gummies yet. Sue says, Angela, you can see us. Angela says, in my imagination, Sue. In my imagination. What do you guys think of the new background? You like this better than the last one? It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's kind of atmospheric. I like it. I feel like I'm on a moon somewhere. Amy Elizabeth says, hi, everybody, by the way. Hi. Are you in the Lord's army with me? That's where I'm at. In my day job. My night job, I'm a comedian. Angela says, me and my imagination are my greatest and best entertainment. Me too. A lot of years of it. Quite the vivid imagination growing up. Very, very vivid. I could imagine things so close to reality that it almost felt real sometimes. You got to concentrate really hard, but you can do it. I've always had trouble sleeping, so I just retreat into my head and try to relax that way. Just cut my body off and just go into my head. Man, the things I thought about when I was a kid. Amy says, I'm just glad it's Thursday. For some reason, I was thinking today was Wednesday. Ugh. No, thank God it's Thursday. It's almost Friday, the end of the week. I'm going to do 6 episodes in a row this week. 6 in a row. 6 days after work. Full podcasts. Amanda says, me and my imagination should be supervised at all times. Yeah, you're a dirty girl. And Angela says, manifestation? Oh, yeah. The imagination is very, very powerful. You can make it do almost anything if you have enough willpower. I have heard of people, I've never witnessed it, but I've heard of it, heard stories of it, of women thinking that they were pregnant, so much so that they started showing and they went all the way through pregnancy until it was time to deliver the baby, and there was no baby. But all the symptoms were there. That's the power of imagination. Angela says, LOL, Amanda. Amy says, I'm cleaning my friend's house on Saturday. She knows I need the money, and her husband has been wanting another housekeeper. Well, that's fantastic. You can make good money doing that if you get 4 or 5 clients that are really loyal to you and just keep you full time. My mom did that for a while. My aunt made a business out of it for about 10 years. Just cleaning houses, and then graduated to cleaning bars and just did that. And then cleaning new houses, like going in and cleaning up the mess after all the construction is left, cleaning the windows and polishing the brass and all that stuff, vacuuming, washing windows. You can make a lot of money doing that, especially in Florida or somewhere like it. Amanda says, well, in my defense, I was left unsupervised, right? Debbie says, hump day was yesterday. Sing along. Ta-ra-ra, boom de yay. Did you get yours today? I got mine yesterday. That's why I walk this way. Nice. Angela says, yep, pseudo-pregnancy. Dogs do it too. Yep, I've heard some weird things that the brain can do. It's quite amazing, actually. Sue says, Amy is a good cleaning person already. I'm sure she is. Angela says, or phantom pregnancies, right? Same thing. LOL, Debbie, says Angela. Amy says, I don't polish knobs, though. Really? Oh, that's a shame. I like my knob polished every now and then. Angela says, Amy, my beautiful friend, how are you today? Aw. Amanda says, LOL, Amy. And Angel says, LOL, Amy. Smiley face and heart. Well, that's a loss to the world, Amy. Debbie says, that is not what I heard at the swap meet. They said you was a good polisher, a good knob polisher. Well, if you're going to do something, put some pride in it. Do it all the way is what I say. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed. I know they but a goodie. Amanda says, I'm pleading the 5th, and the 3rd, and the 12th, and 7th, and anything else she wants, I guess. That's just how I like you, pleading. Begging and a pleading, the 5th or otherwise. There's not a lot of joke in that one. Amy says, Debbie, lead by example. Right on. I say lead or follow or get out of the way. Pick a lane. I'm good either way. Well, it's been an eventful Thursday afternoon. We played some music. We talked about some random stuff. We showed a new picture. We said hello a lot. It's almost time to reverse that role and start saying goodbye, but not yet. Not yet. First, I would like to say go to the new Facebook page. That's facebook.com/UntetheredLive The link is in the chat. It's right above Amy's last comment. Actually, that's not it. That's the old one. Don't go to that one. Go to the new one. Amanda will put it in a minute. It's Untethered Live Chillin'. That's the new page. And there you can post pictures and videos and all that good stuff. The other one, you couldn't do it. We couldn't make it where you could do it. We tried everything. So we started a new page. So go check that out. And also, like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box if you want to show a little love. If you want to help me keep the lights on, if you want to throw a little change in my pocket, if you want to, you can do that right over there. Or hit that Cash App, $JakeJohnsonband. That helps even better. And I do appreciate that very much. And one other thing. Yeah, come tomorrow night where I'll be prepared to do a thing. Sue says, oh, wait a minute. Angela says, can we talk about mud floods? Sure. Talk ahead on. What would you like to talk about specifically? Sue says, goodbye. I just got here. No, not goodbye. We're just talking about goodbye. Goodbye says it all, and we hadn't got there yet. Bill Bennett says, good night all. Hope to see you soon. Well, I hope so too, but we're not leaving just yet, Bill. I was just talking about leaving. Not yet. We got other stuff to talk about first. Angela said, but, you know, I love you and God bless you too. Angela says, I'm with you, Sue. Heart. Amy says, buying bread from a man in Brussels. He was 6'4" and full of muscles. Said, do you speak of my language? He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. And he said, I come from a land down under. I think I know that song. And I do know what Vegemite is. There's the new Facebook page. It's Untethered Live Chilling on Facebook. And Amanda says, Rich, yes, you need to put your mug shot up so that up on that page too. And let's see who we're talking to. Right on. Go put your picture up on the Facebook page. Everybody do that. Amy Elizabeth says, he just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich and said, I come from a land down under where the beer does flow in the Minachunda. Can't you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover, yeah. Rich S says, me? Yes, you. Go to the facebook.com/UntetheredLiveChillin'. Put up a picture so we know who we're talking to. Angela says, where were they exactly? And when were they? Why all adults gone and only left orphan children? I have no concept of what you're talking about. The only flood that I'm aware of is Noah's flood. If you're referring to anything else, I would say probably it's a miscommunication of the lack of being able to take pictures and record things, and couple that with the Black Plague, which had a tendency of killing people a lot. We lost like 92% of the population at one point of Black Plague. So I'm guessing that might be what you're talking about, but I don't know. Fab Daddy says Thursday? Today? That's right, Fab Daddy. How you doing, buddy? If you could be more specific, Angela, I haven't gone down that particular rabbit hole because I haven't found it to bear any weight. But if you got anything specific to point out, we'll take a look at it. Rich says, I'm not sure you can handle this. You go, Rich. And Linda says, yep, there's a few of you all that we were missing. There's a few of you that we're missing. Right. We need everybody's picture up there. So if you can put it up, put it up. If you can't, don't. But we know who you are if you don't put your picture up. Amy says, hi, Fab. And hey, Fab. What's up, buddy? Sue says, sing along. Right on. Amanda says, hi, Fab. Hi, Fab Daddy. Angela says, I keep forgetting. Sorry. Short-term memory problems. I hear you. Fab Daddy says, hi. Amanda says, if you're talking about Texas, it was all-girl summer camp, so only a few adults. No, she's talking about mud floods. It's a conspiracy that people came up with in the last 20-odd years or so. It's a possible explanation for how things happened in the past. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I have seen bits and pieces of it. Rachel says, hi, why are you here on a Thursday? I just felt like being weird. How are you, Rachel? Nice to see you. As I said before, I was told by one of my YouTube handlers that if I did one more episode a week for this month, it would help shift the algorithm into pushing the show out more. So that's what I'm trying to do. That makes 6 episodes in a row without stop. So, yeah. Amanda says, hi, Rachel. It's just a special episode. That's right. Fab Daddy says, you got a gig tomorrow? Oh, no. Just be here. Ain't no way I could do a gig tomorrow. I've got no voice at all. I can barely talk now. Angela says, okay, I'll see what I can find myself. I'm just remembering stories my grandparents told me about orphan children being sent all over the world from floods of mud or mudslides or something like that. I'd have to look into it more specifically, but I'll dig into it and see what I can find out for you. I certainly am interested in learning. And that sounds like an interesting tale, so I'll dig into it tonight and see what I can find. Rachel says, oh. And Fab Daddy says, I made a pumpkin pie today. Excellent. Was it good? I'm not much on pumpkin pie, but some people love those things. Amy says, now I have another New King James Version Bible. The manager gave me the one in Lost and Found. It's not as nice as the one Aaron gave me. Shame nobody wanted this one. Does anybody need one? That's a beautiful sentiment, Amy, and that would be a wonderful thing for you to do with it, is to give it to somebody that might need it. So that would be awesome. I don't know of anybody that don't have one right now, but if anybody needs one, I'll send them your way. Amy says, yummy, Fab. That pumpkin pie sounds good. Amy says, Angel, feel blessed. You knew your grandparents. Mine died before I was born. I knew my grandparents on my mother's side. I knew my granny on my dad's side, but my grandfather died before I was born. I guess my actual grandfather on my mom's side died too. I knew my step-grandfather, the man my grandmother married after my grandpa died, but he was my grandpa my whole life, so I didn't know any better. Angela says, I'll dig into it too. I just was brought back to that memory of their story today. I think it was my grandmother who was telling it. All right. Well, if there's some validity to it, we'll figure it out. Fab Daddy says, it's not great, but it's okay. I didn't have any vanilla extract or nutmeg. Well, those are two very important things for pumpkin pie. It's almost not pumpkin pie without it. Amy says, pumpkin pie spice has that, Fab, except vanilla extract. Angela says, I'm sorry, Amy. I lived with every one of my grandparents as a kid, being a throwaway. Oh, you were absolutely not a throwaway. You have a valuable life. You're a valuable human being, and we love you here, so you're not a throwaway. Mud flood. Fab Daddy said I had cinnamon and sugar. That'll do it. That's almost like nutmeg and vanilla. Amy says, pumpkin. Right on. Pumpkin. A pumpkin. Debbie says, I didn't really know any of my grandparents. Well, know is a relative term. I knew them. I knew who they were, but we didn't spend any time together. They lived in another state. My granny was, though. My dad's mother. She was the matriarch of the family, and everybody depended on her. She raised 11 young'uns and all of their young'uns, and did all of that in a wheelchair. Sue says, I get it. I often feel like my parents didn't really want me, and I wonder why I even exist when I shouldn't. Well, you should. You were meant to exist. You specifically, at this point in time, you were put in this life. You absolutely were meant to exist. And what a wonderful existence it is, because without you, we wouldn't have a Sue Woods. The puzzle is complete because you're here. Angela says, aunts, uncles, friends of family, school friends, I was a throwaway. No one wanted me, but if I weren't, I would have known God personally at a young age. Well, listen, I want you, so that means you're not a throwaway. It just took you a while to find where you belong, but here you are, home, with a bunch of people that want you around. Amy says, I'm playing both sides. I have a red bandana in my hair and a blue bandana in my back pocket for the sweat. You're blood and a Crip, huh? Amy says, blood Crip. West Side. Live long and prosper. Linda Davis says, I loved my Nona, but my grandfather was a horrible man, horrible person. Something about that generation. There's a lot of horrible people in it. Fab Daddy says, get a white bandana and you're a patriotism gang thug. Well, the only bandana I have is a red one. Amy says, Fab, smiley face. And Linda, my kids call my mom Nana. Debbie says, my mom's mom died when she was 2, and my brothers and I were not welcome in her dad's house because our father was a dark skin and he was Italian. Wow. Interesting. Gotta watch out for them dark-skinned Italians. It's amazing that people thought that way in those days. Amy says, I have one, Fab. Good idea. Debbie says, we were not allowed in the house, and we had to use the outhouse when MUMPM would visit. When my mom would visit. Well, that's not that terrible. I had an outhouse when I was growing up. We used it all the time because we didn't have a bathroom. Linda Davis says, grandmother in Italian is Nona or Noni. Nice. Debbie says, my mom. Right. Amy says, the other show was talking about the Bible. I tagged Jake. People don't realize the Bible reports history. It doesn't promote the horrible acts. Right. Right. Just because it records a thing does not mean that it's endorsing it. Just that's what happened. And nowhere will you find God supporting the ideas that people find issue with, like slavery, for example. God did not condone or order slavery. It's not a commandment. All he said was, if you're going to do that, there's a proper way to do it, which promote ending slavery, not keeping it going. But God, in his infinite wisdom, realizes that mankind has free will, and they're going to do what they're going to do. It's better to restrain them than it is to try to stop them, because they will go the other direction. Amanda says, my kids called my stepmom Nina. Amy says, that's horrible, Debbie. Fab Daddy says, handkerchiefs are nasty. Blow your snot and put it back in your pocket. I just never liked them. I use my shirt sleeve. I just fling it into the air or use a napkin like that. Debbie says the outhouse was not the issue. Everyone was allowed in the house to use the bathroom but us. Yeah, that's terrible. I'm sorry you had to go through that. But that made you who you are today. So even if it was bad, it's part of what built you. So take from it what you need to take from it to build your character, to make you as rounded and noble as you can be. A lot of people didn't have that particular experience, so that makes you uniquely qualified to understand it. Sometimes we have to go through things for that very reason, just so that we can understand it. Amy says, the subject was thou shalt not kill, but people in the Bible killed each other. Its interpretation, thou shalt not murder. All right, that's one of the few words in the Bible that are mistranslated. The word is phonios in the Greek, which means criminal homicide, to lie in wait. Kill is not the same word as phonios. That's murder. So that's true. But people kill in the Bible because they're evil, not because they're following God. If they're following God, they wouldn't be killing each other. Amy says, I hope you had a garden hose to drink from, Debbie. I did. Amy says, I used bandanas for cooling purposes only. I use tissue for blowing my nose. Right on. I use a bandana to hold my hair when I ride a motorcycle sometimes, or to cover my face to keep bugs out of my teeth. Rich says, how can people be so mean? Thank the Lord, I have never had similar experiences, but I'm sorry if you have. Right on. Well, people can be mean because they're evil. They're surrounded by it. They're indoctrinated with it. They're influenced by it. They're taken over by it. Evil is paramount in the world. The devil runs this world. And if that's true, and it is, what would you expect to see? A lot of people doing evil things. That's what you'd expect to see. And that's what you see. And that's why people can be so mean. Thank God we have people with the wherewithal to rise above that and stop the hatred. Angela says, my childhood made me depend on God and be a savior. I wouldn't change any of it. Be a survivor, sorry. Depend on God, be a survivor. I wouldn't change any of it. Right, Angela. Fab Daddy says, as a kid, I carried a pair of lock vise pliers so I could use a faucet that the handle was missing, right? Turn that faucet on. Sue says, I always wondered about that particular commandment. Why is it okay to join the military when soldiers kill people? Well, because they're following orders. They're not guilty of murder because they're in war. And in war, death is justified. That's not lying in wait. They have no particular malice. They don't really want to hurt anybody. It's not coming from an evil place. But the Bible does tell you to follow your command. And if you're in a military situation, you have to follow the orders. That's what military is. So when they kill people, they're doing it out of defense. Now, there is a stark difference between going to war when God tells you to go to war to defend yourself and going to war because the government tells you to go to war because they want property or oil or money or power. Those are not reasons to go to war, and those are not ordained by God. So, yes, there are people that go to war and kill people. Those people are murderers because they're not doing what God told them to do. And the way you handle that is don't ever go to war with anybody unless God tells you to do so. And you'll know if God's telling you to. World War II was a just war that God ordained. All the other wars since then was not. Debbie says, no garden hose, but we were allowed to eat in the yard when everyone was in the house, LOL. It's terrible. Amy Elizabeth says, right, Jake, that's why I tagged you in it. Thank you, ma'am. Maybe one day they'll ask me to come and explain myself. Debbie says, you're supposed to eat the bugs, Jake. That is protein. I don't eat bugs. I don't even eat lobster or shrimp because those are bugs too. Amy says, I think most people had a messed up childhood in one way or another. It makes us who we are today, survivors. Most of us in our generation did anyway. Patty's here. Patty's here. She says, hello, people. Hello, Patty. Angela says, I agree 100%, Amy. Amanda says, hi, Patty. Amy says, hi, Patty. Patty says, hey, ladies. Rich says, it can be a moral dilemma, but many Christians believe that governments have a God-given right to maintain order and administer justice, including military, according to a passage in Romans. Some of them do. Some of them do not. You want to know who they are? If you'll go back and read the book of Isaiah and a couple other places, I'm trying to think exactly where it is. I think it's in the book of Isaiah. Wherever Saul was appointed king, God tells you who the kings are. That's the government. He tells you who they are and where they come from, what bloodline they come from. And so if you look around the world and you find those bloodlines, those are the people who have a right to maintain justice and whatever. Now, you have judges and you have leaders. Anybody that has a country has a right to be in that country. It's their country. If they fought for it, if they wrestled power over it, it's their country, right? America belongs to America. So our government has a right to defend America, defend it. It has a right to administer laws over America, which are based on Moses' laws. Those are the laws you have a right to follow. That being said, Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and unto God what is God's. Well, what is Caesar's? All the money is Caesar's, and all of the laws are Caesar's, but everything is God's, right? So that is a apropos way of saying that you put God first in everything. Now, God does appoint judges. How does that happen? I'm not real sure. I would assume that if you're meant to be a judge, then God puts you in a life that affords you the ability to become a judge. I've never had the opportunity to become a judge because I'm not meant to be a judge. I have no idea how you even get that job or what you got to go through to get it. It's not the life that I live. So I believe that God ordains people for certain things, right? You ever felt like you were answering a calling or that you were doing the thing you were put here to do? Then you're probably doing what God ordered you to do. So if you read the book of Judges and the book of Kings and all of that stuff, you'll find out that God does appoint rulers and leaders and judges and law enforcement, if you want to call it that. I think we carry it a little bit too far sometimes, but if you'll read the Bible, especially the book of the law, Leviticus, you'll understand where all the laws come from. And up until recently, all of our laws were based on Moses' laws. Now, they have recently started adding some things into the law that is not biblical. But when this country was founded, the laws were biblical, and those are okay. So my advice to that, Rich, would be render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and unto God what is God's, always. Amy says, the two brothers slaughtered the whole town in Genesis because they defiled their sister. Yes, they did, but they also paid for that. They were not let off the hook. They committed murder. They suffered for that. You got to read the whole thing. You'll find out that that whole family suffered quite a lot. But yeah, they did go around killing people, that's for sure. David was a man of war. That's why he couldn't build the temple. Solomon, his son, had to build it because David had killed many people. And God viewed David as a man after his own heart. God loved David, but he wouldn't let him build his temple because his hands were full of blood, because the man of war can't build the temple. That temple has to be built with hands that have never seen violence. So Solomon was able to do it. Make no mistake about it, Amy. Just because bad people do bad things, they did not get away with it. I assure you of that. Amy says, in Canaan, right? Well, if you're talking about when Moses and Joshua went and they killed every living thing in Canaan, that was an ordination from God, and those things were not human beings. They didn't belong here. God did order their execution. All of them, man, woman, child, and animal. Kill them all. Burn it all. Don't even take their gold or anything. Burn it all to the ground. Because those things did not belong on planet Earth. They were not human beings. Amy Elizabeth says, see, Jake, in listening and learning with every episode, which I've been posting to Wimkin for you. Thank you. And I appreciate that. I finally got caught up and got all my videos backlogged, posted to Wimkin. It took me a week to do it, but I got it done. I know you are learning and listening, Amy, and I appreciate you for doing it and spreading the word to other people who may not have done so. They all can take a little bit out of your page and study the way that you're studying. I'm proud of you for doing that. Amy says, Rich, until the government ignores God's word, that's right. That's when it goes bad. As long as the government is below God, God first, government next, then they're okay. Whatever they do works. The minute they try to supersede God, this becomes a Babylon situation then. And God don't like that too much. Fab Daddy says, hate to tell you, Jake, but you eat bugs. If your food is shiny, it's probably shellac. And if it's red, it's a bug. I hate to tell you, but I eat proper food. I don't eat shellac. I eat vegetables and meat. That's it. Now, there might be bugs in that. Yes. I don't eat bugs intentionally, though. Amy says, right, Fab, the USDA has allowable amounts of bug parts in peanut butter. You'd be surprised what that FDA will allow, or the USDA, rather. There's an allowable number of human body parts in meat, like potted meat and hot dogs. There is a number, and it's not 0, just so you know. You would think, oh, no, 0 body parts in the food. The number is not 0. That is acceptable. So somebody's losing fingers and stuff and going in your potted meat. And there's also dogs and rats and other critters. Matter of fact, if you never want to eat again, go down the rabbit hole and look at how hot dogs are made, or chicken for that matter. I worked at a Sara Lee plant one time, and we would pull up vats away from the wall and clean out from behind them and rebuild the piping system. And when you pulled those vats away from the wall, there was just cakes of maggots everywhere. Horrible, horrible stench. That's where all the chicken comes from. And while I was there, I worked there for a week. And there was a full chicken laying on the ground, and workers would go by and just kick it out of the way. It was nasty. It's been there the whole week, laying on the ground, day and night. The last day I was there, I was walking out, and this Mexican was walking in front of me, and he bent over and picked it up and popped it in the vat with the rest of the chickens and walked out. I didn't eat chicken for almost a year after that. Rich S says, ultimately, the decision to join the military as a Christian is a personal one, often requiring careful consideration, prayer, and a deep understanding of one's own convictions and conscience. Sure. I'm not telling you that you should or shouldn't join the military. I'm just telling you the validity of it. Either way, just because somebody tells you to go to war does not mean you should. Rich S says, well said, Jake. Thank you. And I'm half asleep. I appreciate that. Amy says, bug parts, rodent hair, and excrement, Fab. Oh, yeah. Fab Daddy says, rodent hair has a nice peppery flavor. Yeah. Amy says, LOL, Fab. Debbie says, Fab Daddy. And I have read that when an ingredient list says other, it means bugs. No way to keep roaches and stuff out sometimes, like in cocoa beans. Enjoy that chocolate bar, right? Yeah, I've found a few things in chocolate bars before, opening up the package and being surprised. Amy says, I haven't gotten to that part yet. You will. Debbie says, I type that as I'm enjoying a piece of chocolate cake. Well, you got to just look past those things, because if you know, sometimes ignorance is bliss, and if you know, it will ruin eating for you. Sometimes you don't need to know things. Like last night, I mentioned 2 girls, 1 cup, and then I said, don't look that up, because some things, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Be aware that it exists, but stay away from it. It's nice that you don't know some things. Don't look that up. Amy says, LOL, Debbie, and Fab Daddy says, M&M's has shellac as a coating. What are you saying? I don't eat M&M's, Fab Daddy. Meat and vegetables, that's what I eat. Amy says, my husband used to work for a potato chip company, and he had to pick out the burnt ones and he would eat them until the company realized that there was a market for it, right? Now you have the skinned potatoes. Linda Davis says, sorry guys for disappearing. I had to get this damn torture chamber off. It's been a long day. I'm sure the women on here understand. You don't have to say anything more. I understand too. Angela says, I work in a duck processing plant for about 3 days. I worked at a kosher calf processing plant for about a year once also. Yeah, when you work where the food is made, it really will turn you away from wanting to eat. It really will, because they don't care at all at those places. I really disagree with the way they do farming to make food. I think it is grotesque and very over-processed and overbearing and cruel to the animals. And if you just let them be animals, they'll do the thing that you need them to do, and there'll be plenty of food. But no, they got to put them in little cubicles and fatten them up, try to make more money out of them. It's horrible. Amy says, hugs, Linda. And Fab Daddy says, free the baby feeders. Let them puppies fly. Boobies. Debbie says, I looked it up and didn't find anything. The 2 girls on a 1 cup thing. Yeah, you got to take your adult filter off for that. It's there. Don't look it up, though. Really. Linda Davis says, damn straight, Fab. Angela says, like, see the life leave someone after their last breath. Can't unsee that. Right. Watching somebody die is hard to forget. That's true. Taking a life is a thing you can't forget either. That will never leave you. That'll live right here in your eyes for the rest of your life. You don't think it would, but it will. It'll affect you in ways you weren't prepared for. Amy says, good for your legs, Angel. Duck processing up, down, all day. You get paid for it. Duck processing. Yeah. Angela says, LOL, Amy. And Amanda says, do you really want to know, Debbie? You really don't. I promise you don't. Amanda says, I can send it to you. Don't send that. Listen, I'm trying to run a church here. I should have never brought it up. That's all I got to say about it. Debbie says, yes, I do, Amanda. Enlighten me. You asked for it. Amy says, I want a Venn diagram, Amanda. Somebody has been listening and learning. Fab Daddy says, I used to wear tighty whities. I can tell. I can tell that about you. Now it's boxers. I got to let the sack flop for air circulation. I get tired of them sticking to my thighs. Well, when you're built like a mule, you just let it hang. That's all you can do. I can tell you wear tighty whities. You got that tighty whitey kind of disposition. You can tell what I wear too, can't you? Amanda says, okay, it's gross, but I'm sending it. It's terrible. Amy says, Fab, now they have underwear with built-in ball pockets. I've seen that. I can't, no, that doesn't seem right to me at all. I'm not going down that road. I don't care what anybody says. What is that all about? Why would you want to do that? That makes no sense. That's antithetical to having balls. Angela says, Debbie, it is disgusting. I wish I didn't know. I'm telling you, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. That'll be with you for the rest of your life. Don't look it up. Amy says, I know what it is. I don't want to see it either. Right? Amanda says, period panties are gross too. Fab Daddy says, you're a boxer briefs guy. I can tell. You can tell wrong. I'm a no underwear kind of guy. I'm a free baller, baby. I don't have inhibitions. I just let it all hang out. I'm not shy in the slightest bit. I keep nothing tucked up under my nubbies. Linda says, I'm good. Leave me out of that. I don't need to know. You don't. You really don't. Amy says, the mix undies, or the Nix undies, Amanda. My mom uses them for incontinence. All right. Angela says, OnlyFans, you can make money selling your period panties. People are sickos. I know, right? That's weird. Or bath water, selling bath water. These girls, they got no soul, I'm telling you. Amanda says, well, that's different, Amy. And Debbie says, I need therapy now. You probably do. Amy says, wet kitty. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Lord, please forgive me. I didn't mean to send these ladies down this road. All right, it's 10:14. I got to go to bed. I love you guys. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, Super Chat, Cash App, $JakeJohnsonband. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, Friday night, for some chill stream action, planned and supervised and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for being here on a Thursday night, unprovoked, unannounced, ready to go. You guys are the wind beneath this podcast wings. I've said that before. I'll say it again to all of you who keep coming and keep checking it out. And I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are awesome. And I'll see you tomorrow. And Angela says, LOL, Debbie, you were warned. Amy says, Japan has vending machines with used panties. I know. Japanese people are weird. We bombed the masculinity out of that country. Back in the day, they were all samurais and ninjas and shit. And then, bang, all they are from then on out was tentacle porn and Hello Kitty. Bang the masculinity right out of them. That's when you get hit hard. Angela says, I love you all. Good night, heart. I love you too, Angela. Good night, sweetie. Amanda says, we tried to warn you, Debbie. And Debbie says, traumatize me and leave. That is traumatizing. Patty says, thank you, prayers. Patty, thank you for being here, sweetie. And I love you. Amanda says, good night, all. See you tomorrow night. Fab Daddy says, 2 and 5, everybody. I don't even know what that means, but I like it. 2 and 5. It sounds like a bon voyage. Linda says, love you all. Good night, heart. Linda, thank you. And thank you. And God bless you. Amanda says, LOL. Yep, Debbie. Amy says, good night. I hope I didn't give you nightmares, Jake. Never. Why would you give me nightmares? Nope. Sweetest dreams only. Why would you think I'd be getting nightmares? Did I miss something? Angela says, LOL, Jake. Japan got soft. Very soft. Flaccid, more like. Unable to rise to the occasion. They got ED'd. We bombed Japan into erectile dysfunction. Nothing but Hello Kitty from then on out. And tentacle porn. Weirdness. And little girls. No masculinity. None. Debbie says, good night, all. Debbie, I love you. I hope you can sleep tonight now that you've seen that. Horrible, horrible stuff this world can produce. Debbie says, 2 fingers for peace, 5 fingers for bye. I got you. 2 and 5. I see. That makes sense, actually. And Amanda says 205, military call for good night. Angela says smiley, smiley, smiley. And Amy says good night, nightmares from the 2-Cup Talk. Oh, no. Didn't give me nightmares. I know better than to look at things like that because I guard my soul a little. I've seen some things I wish I didn't see, but I try now in my older age to not look at some things. All right. Thank you all. I love you. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow night. Debbie says, I will sleep. Now I want some chocolate ice cream. Angela says, it's 1 cup, Amy. It's 1 cup. 2 girls. 1 cup. Blah. Thanks for watching. I love y'all.